Welcome to Two Tall Guys Talking Sales. In this episode, Kevin and Sean tackle the secret to staying motivated in sales and share a simple yet powerful formula to set and achieve your own goals, whether or not you've been assigned one. You'll hear how breaking down your income target into weekly milestones can transform your productivity and how personal rewards can keep you inspired to push forward. Plus, they'll show you why understanding your why is the key to unlocking long-term success. Get ready to take control of your sales journey. Let's dive in.
Welcome back to Two Tall Guys Talking Sales. My name is Sean. I want to tell you about an athlete. This is a proverbial athlete. It's not somebody you know. That's somebody I actually know. I'm making this person up, of course. But it's a high school sprinter. And she is a great sprinter. She's not setting world records, but for high school, she is doing really, really well. Now, on a regular basis, several times a week during the off season, she has to go and do workouts. She has to run hard. She has to run long. She has to lift weights. And it's painful. It's hard. She has a goal, though. Her goal is not to have her track team for high school win, even though that's very important for her. But her goal is to win the 100 meter this spring. So it's a spring sport. She's working hard. She wants to win that event against her major competitor, her rival school that's on the other side of town. She tells that goal to her coach. And her coach says, well, I think that's a great goal. But what I really want you to focus on is how do we get the entire team, the entire track team, to win the event against our major competitor? She's struggling with this. The reason she is struggling is all she can do is win the 100 and maybe the 200 and whatever other events that she has. She has no effect on the shot putter. She has no effect on the high jumper or the pole vaulter. And she's struggling with that. But her motivation is for her to do incredibly well and to motivate her team. And then she realizes that it's the hard work that she was doing. It's the practice all year long, the constantly going into the gym, all of that was potentially motivating to everybody else on the team. And so she starts talking to the pole vaulter about join me at my workouts. She starts talking to the high jumper about joining me for the workouts. And so her motivation to do incredibly well not only is going to win her the blue ribbon at that big meet, but potentially it's going to motivate the entire team to win the event. Now, I say this not because I love sports analogies, but if you've been listening to Two Tall Guys Talking Sales for the last 120 episodes or so that we've been doing this, you'll know that I talk about a lot of sports analogies because I do love sports analogies. My point is, what motivates you as a salesperson to do incredibly well? What are you doing to achieve your goals? And because you achieve your goals, maybe the salesperson down the hall, maybe the salesperson in that other team, maybe the salesperson in that other office is also working their butt off, trying to make sure that they do very, very well for the team as well.
It's an interesting concept, and I love the tie back to running sports because I'm a runner. Running stories get me, so now I want to go get my mileage in for the day. So thank you for that motivation. But it's interesting and curious that not everybody who is in sales has a quota. Not everybody has a goal, but the purpose of today is to really talk about how do you as a seller motivate yourself in the absence of a goal or towards a goal, but how do you stay motivated yourself to climb that sales mountain month after month, quarter after quarter, year after year? Because we all know that the dirty secret of sales is January 1st, everybody goes back to zero. So we're left with the paradigm of how do I pick my head up off the pillow every day and go out and try to win and close more business effectively. I'm sure you have as well, Sean. We've woken up in a sales role where we didn't have a sales goal set for us. So we had to do some things to stay motivated, not just make sure we're prospecting, call on customers, build relationships. We had to plan. When we weren't given a quota to hit, when we weren't given a sales number we had to exceed, when we weren't given a retention number for clients that we were supposed to exceed or maintain, some of this we had to figure out on our own. So my challenge for everyone listening here today is, if you're a seller or a sales leader who's not been given a goal from your CFO, or if you just don't have that number, let's do the math that's going to get us to success. I'm assuming that everyone listening knows how to calculate their commission. You either get paid top line or on profit or some other economic driver for you. And that's going to be really important, because Sean and I are going to talk about what is your economic driver, what is your personal financial budget is what this boils down to, or what is the most you can do to maximize your earnings in this role where you're not assigned a goal. So the idea is this: there is a simple math equation that you can do to set your own goals. Now, if you don't have a goal or have never set one, this is your year, this is your month, this is your week, because this goal in large part tracks all the way back to what am I doing before lunch tomorrow to get to that goal. I'm not saying go send 1,000 emails before lunch. I'm going on record. I'm not talking about that kind of activity. I'm talking about the kind of systematic behavior as an activity. Are we meeting new people? Are we asking for business? Are we talking to referral partners and customers about why they like to transact with us? All those things. But it's really important to talk about why. So my why is different than Sean's why. Sean's why is probably different than your why. All of us together, whether you're listening or you're Sean and I in the studio here, we all have different whys, and that's really important to call out. You have to figure that out. Maybe it's, hey, I'm trying to grow my personal financial wealth. Maybe it's I'm trying to take care of infirmed loved ones, older, younger, doesn't matter. You probably have a why that maybe you want to be more philanthropic, or wow, you really just want to earn enough next quarter to take the vacation. What about you, Sean? Where are you thinking right now?
So I'm remembering a ad, and I don't remember who the ad is with. And it was about a couple with a young lady, if I remember right at the ad, that was growing up over the years. And every time they got a raise, every time they did anything, every time they won a little bit of money in a contest or whatever, they joked and they said college fund, and it went into the college fund. And it was for this young lady that was growing up over the years. And the ad went on, and the young lady grows up, and then you get to the scene of she opens up the envelope and she just got a full ride scholarship. And now they don't know what to do with the college fund. And the next scene is them on a boat, a yacht-like boat, with the name of the boat being college fund. So you are all motivated for something. So what you were talking about before is very fitting, Kevin. What is your motivation? What are you trying to achieve in your life? For some people, I'm just trying to keep the lights on. I'm just trying to keep the mortgage company happy, right? For other people, you're saving for the college fund for your kids. For other people, you're saving for your retirement. But what is your motivation? What are your goals? And I'm going to talk about now, instead of those long-term goals, I'm going to talk about that short-term goal. And then let's get to the math, Kevin. But that short-term goal. So you've got your quota, and sometimes there is a significant deal that comes in, and you want to reward yourself for that significant deal. And your boss hasn't given you a quota. Your boss hasn't told you what you need to make, but you know that was a big deal. That was a very significant deal. So you need to reward yourself for something that you did, something that was great. You closed a big deal. Do one thing that you only do when you close a significant deal. I've had people work for me, and I was telling Kevin this earlier today. There was a woman that worked for me 20 years ago, and she's still doing it, to my knowledge, to this day. Whenever she closed a deal that was 10% of her annual number that she wanted to hit, then she would buy herself a brand new, really nice, really expensive purse. Now, I don't know anything about purses, so I don't know brands. I don't know what she was buying, but she would always buy a really, really expensive purse. And that was the only time she would buy that brand of purse or that designer of purse, was when she closed that really, really big deal. So for you on a daily basis, to motivate you through the day, to be like that sprinter that's having to lift those weights even though it hurts, and getting up early even though it sucks to get up early because it's dark out. You need that one thing that's motivating just to get through the day. And one of the things you should do is choose something that is unique when something good happens that you only use for that unique time. It's a really good motivator for your day. But it's also could be the beginnings of the motivator for your career, for your year. So let's talk a little bit about that math. So you figured out how much you need to make this year. Let's just say $100,000. Okay, so you might need more, you might need less. Scale it up, scale it down, whatever makes sense for you. It's easy to do. In fact, let's do $104,000, because $104,000 kind of works really good for 52 weeks in the year. So that means you have to do $2,000 every week. Okay, so that breaks down to a certain number of dollars per hour that you're going to work. I don't know how many hours you want to work. You might want to work 10 hours a week, in which case you're going to have to do $200 an hour. You might want to work 100 hours a week. I'm not sure. So I'm going to let you decide. Let's just say you do 40. That's $50 an hour that you have to bring in. So what did you do in the last hour that was worth $50? What did you do to make that happen? And you can break down your life to that degree and really think about focusing on activities that are going to reward you at $50 an hour. And stop doing those things like watching YouTube videos that are only worth $25 an hour, because that's not what's going to help. Or in the case of YouTube, probably zero.
But you got to listen to wherever you get your podcast. That's a high volume, high octane kind of activity. YouTube versus, in our case, Spotify and Apple. But it's great that you bring that up, Sean, because we can break this all the way down to the most granular level. Like if you can get an hourly rate, divide by 6 to get the minute rate. Like you can keep working this, and there's a point where this is overworked. So let's bring this back up to hey, let's make this simple math. I really like your approach of $2,000 a week gets us to $104,000 a year. This same math applies to whatever your number is. So you can double it, you can cut it in half, you can do whatever version of the math is, but the formula stays the same. So to get to $104,000, you have to say, well, that's the commissions I've earned. So what is my commission rate? Okay, so you divide that dollar amount by your commission rate. Well, what's my average deal size? And with the deal size, what's my profit margin on that deal size? That if I'm paid on margin, I've got to do this same calculation for the margin dollars. If I'm paid on top line revenue, it's the same calculation for the top line revenue. We're just figuring out how many deals equal that many dollars. So if my average, commission is $2,000 on a deal, that means I've got to do one of those a week. If my average commission is $1,000, I need to do 2 of those a week. See where the math is going here. Let's pretend that I'm getting paid on top line revenue. So I've got a 3% commission structure where I'm getting paid 3% of revenue. And it could be 30% of revenue. The math is the math. You take your earnings and divide by that commission rate to know how many deals you need, right? And then you take the number of deals. Now, this is where the math gets squirrely. This is where having a CRM is really valuable. You need to know how many deals you need to open and close to know what your closing rate is. Now, there's a lot of discussion around where do I start the counting? I like to use the closed deals after the stage of first call connections. I'm not going to identify 1,000 leads and measure my close rate off of that. That's a marketing to sales conversion. This is a sales process to sales close. Sean, you may use something different. I'll throw it over to you here in a second. But using that rate and the number of deals you need, you got to divide your number of deals needed to make your commission by your close rate. That tells you how many total deals you need to process in a year. And you can say, well, I close 70% of my deals. Does that get you to the commission rate? Well, oftentimes, if you're closing 70% of your deals, you're probably not working enough deals, or you're only putting them in at a late stage of your process. So it's okay to lose a deal. It's okay to qualify one out early, but to get to commissions you need to get the earnings you need, you got to kind of reverse engineer the model. Now, Sean, why don't you take it from there? And we're close on the 15 minutes, but we need to talk about what do you do when you've got two commission rates for different products? And it's really about the same math, but you're just doing the percentage of what you're going to sell next year. So why don't you take it across the finish line there?
Way to save zero time left for the most complicated part of the conversation. But the goal here is to figure out how you're going to spend your time. And at the beginning of every year, and we are drawing down to the end of 2024, you need to start thinking about next year and actually analyze how many deals do I need to close? How many deals do I need to work on to get things done? How many customers do I need to expand in? How many customers do I need to close as brand new? Figure it out now and put metrics in front of yourself so that you can actually create a plan that allows you to achieve those goals. So if you need to close 5 large deals and 25 medium-sized deals, then figure out how much effort does it take to do 5 large deals? And how many deals do you have to get 5? And the same thing with that 25. But figure that out and build a plan that allows you to achieve that. Unfortunately, we're probably going to have to take this up in another episode. So come back and listen to Two Tall Guys Talking Sales. In a future episode, we'll dig into the subject even more because we ran out of time and I was probably talking about sprinters and all the rest a little bit too much. Thank you very much.
What a great episode, Sean and Kevin. Today, we dove deep into the concept of breaking down your sales math to set achievable goals, something every salesperson should master. Kevin's advice on reverse engineering your income target into weekly milestones was a game changer. By understanding how many deals you need to close and tracking activities tied to those goals, you can take control of your performance, even if you're not assigned a quota. It's a clear, actionable strategy that removes uncertainty and sets you up for success. We also heard about a significant actionable item, creating personal rewards for major milestones. As Sean explained, recognizing and celebrating your wins, whether it's buying yourself something special or taking time for a meaningful reward, keeps you motivated and makes the hard work feel worth it. Don't let this idea sit on the back burner. Think of a reward today and commit to celebrating your next big win. If you ever need help with sales management, or growing your company, don't hesitate to reach out to Sean or Kevin. Their contact details are in the show notes, along with a quick assessment to see how your sales team measures up. Take the quiz. It's fast and insightful. Thank you for tuning in. Remember to subscribe to Two Tall Guys Talking Sales on your favorite podcast player so you never miss an episode. Until next Tuesday at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time, happy selling.